So we go down to the start for the next Olympic qualifying event, men's lightweight double sculls. And in lane 1, the new kids on the block in the double scull, Zach Purchase, world champion on the right of your picture in the single last year, and Mark Hunter, his partner, in the stroke seat on the left of your picture. Next to them, Dimitrios Mougios and Vasileios Polymeros. He was a bronze medalist in Athens in 2004, and the champions and world record holders, Mads Rasmussen on the left and Rasmus Quist on the right. In the Danish double scull, Japan in lane 4, Italy, Marcello Miani on the left and Elia Luini on the right of your picture in the stroke seat, and Sam Belts and Tom Gibson of Australia. One last suck on the water bottle, tuck it away. Who wants the extra weight? Frequently they throw them in the water or throw them back to the people on the stake boat, and clogs are ready for the start. Concentrating there on Rasmus Quist in the stroke seat and Mads Rasmussen, his partner, in bow.
Clean start all round here. Going to be looking particularly to the Danes, who have been absolutely fantastic all the way through the season. Very, very experienced in the stroke seat there. And also the Italians, Luini, of course, of one of the famous doublers we said before with Bettinari, who's just picked up his gold. And there in your picture, Great Britain, Zach Purchase, one of the real rising stars on the lightweight rowing circuit.
Yes, they performed extremely well on the World Cup circuit, not perhaps quite as well as their compatriots in the lightweight 4. A little bit surprising to see them on an outside lane, actually.
Well, this is all so competitive. I mean, they've got absolutely fantastic pedigree all the way across the field. So, I mean, someone's got to come third in the semi-final, and unfortunately for them, it was them. But the Italians here showing first now, about half a length to the good, almost half a length. Them and I think Denmark, who generally just settle down into their race plan and don't really worry too much about what's going on around them. Is that kind of fair?
I think that's absolutely fair. They do settle into their race plan, and sixth at the moment, but not out of it at all, is Japan, and they too, with Kazuhige Ura and Daisaku Takeda, who's extremely experienced, won his first gold medal in the quad back in 2000, so they know what they're about, and although they're half a length down on this field, it's not something that they can't make up in this boat.
Saw a great picture there of Elia Luini in the stroke seat. They have been pulled back a little bit. Italy are leading the field, but very, very narrow distance between them, Denmark and Australia in picture now on the near side of them. It's really starting to also move up. The whole field is really squashed up now.
The field is squashed, and the real question would be whether or not Purchase and Hunter are actually finding the pace a little bit hot on the far side there, because this crew near to us, Sam Belts and Tom Gibson from Australia, in third position as they went through 500, and definitely now challenging with Italy, and the Danes pushing out in front, but not by a substantial margin at this stage. A lot to play for, but Denmark beginning to show themselves as the benchmark crew off whom everybody else must judge their race pace.
And they actually do look like they've just got a little bit more duration underneath the water, just a little longer stroke there. It's not necessarily because they're any taller than their competitors, in fact quite the reverse, but it's just a question of being very, very efficient and having the flexibility to stretch out, find the blades in the water as you arrive, and then really just sweep it through nice and long, and it's just a very beautiful stroke here.
You look at that Danish quad there, fourth from the bottom of your picture, but out in front, that double rather, and Mads Rasmussen is about just under 6 foot and a normal build for a lightweight. Rasmus Quist is a lot shorter, as you can see from this shot. He's almost a head shorter, but they've spent enough time together, so much time together, that they are indistinguishable physically when they're in the boat, although they're vastly different when they're on the land. So Denmark, Greece and Italy given the first 3 positions there at 1,000 metres. Italy, I think, a little bit of a heave on the finish there, but they're not quite getting the same send off the finish as the Danish double seems to have.
Purchase and Hunter now starting to move up as well, over in the far side of your picture, over in lane 1, and they're starting to move with the Greeks, who are now in shot, and they're starting in turn to move on Denmark. who are race leaders in lane 3.
I wouldn't wish to hazard a guess before we're in the last quarter of the race. We're 750 metres to go, but it would seem that Denmark are doing what they do, and they're so hard to make them panic or do anything strange that I think they really are as dominant as they appear to be. But behind them, Greece holding on to a good silver medal, and then it's absolutely anybody's for the next 3 seats.
It really is just a lesson in sculling this, and you can see that the pace which they pick up on their handles as it comes through into their bodies, they're just deflecting that away off the back end of the finish. You can see that it really just encourages a very fluent, very relaxed style, striking 35.5 strokes a minute, which isn't high. It's just very controlled, it's very long, and it's very fast.
And I believe that if they were doing this on some lake in Denmark, they would carry on doing it for another 10 miles. It's the sort of thing they do all the time. It's a lovely, easy race pace, and it's sustainable over a long distance. At the moment, we have Greece in silver medal position, Great Britain in bronze, but only 0.28 of a second ahead of Australia on lane 6, and Italy slipping back. I think that point we made about them not sending the boat off the finish, even though they are having a bit of a heave into the shoulders, might be what's costing them their position.
Australia here on this near side, in fact 4th last year as well. And at the moment, it looks as though on the far side, Purchase and Hunter starting to move on the Greeks ahead of them. And it's going to be a little bit of work for the Australians to do if they're going to start coming back in this. 38.5 strokes a minute.
Purchase and Hunter at 38.5. So they're building already. They're out of race pace and into final sprint. They've got 350 metres to go. They can see right across the course to their left. They know where everybody else is, and they'll be watching those Australians like a hawk and just getting a sniff of Greece for a silver medal.
And I think the British crew now have just held off a little bit of a charge from the Australians. It's going to be very, very tight and very interesting. But in the front of your picture there on the right-hand side, the Danish double are absolutely imperious and flying.
41 for Hunter and Purchase.
Greece still in second position at the moment, but being put under enormous pressure by Purchase and Hunter on the far side. They're about 2 feet down now at that bronze medal position at the moment. The Australians look like they're slightly out of it, about 3/4 of a length down. It's going to be Denmark in the last 30 metres as they come up to the line. Greece still holding on to second, and Purchase and Hunter perhaps fading in the last, but I think they're going to cross in bronze position. Indeed, there it is. Bronze position for Great Britain, 4th, yet again, Australia. But
good,
Danes.
Good bronze medal that, because Australia did make a big push. And I didn't even see who crossed the line between Italy and Japan, but I think it was almost certainly Italy just ahead of Japan, who had been unfortunately 6th right the way through that race. But the margin at the end of the last 500, it is indeed given to Italy, who were 5.74 seconds behind the winners Denmark. It's not a lot to play with, is it, across the whole field? And Japan 5.79, so it was Italy by 0.05 of a second over Japan, who had been chasing them to the line, but nevertheless unable to catch them. Denmark looking like one of the crews of the morning anyway, for their absolute calm command of that race. They raised the rate of striking to 38 strokes per minute at the end from their persistent 6:36.5. Never broke the rhythm, never looked really under pressure, although they did let, in fact they opened up. They were over Greece 0.12 of a second with 500 meters